Suzuki, have you announced it yet?
What is it?
Do you want to go to the stage or no?
No,
What is it?
right here.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
bug. My mic bugs on stage.
Man,
So anyways,
is it because you only debate on phone and you don't actually
what are you
have
even
the
saying, dude? You're
opportunity to
mumbling.
debate
You
in
can't even speak
VC?
properly. So
Am I mumbling
someone read
or do you
that
just have a
retard,
bad
the Nigerian retard,
do
Chinner
you
for
have
a
an
moment, and
iPhone?
then like let's get
Do
like
you
a
have an
1v1
iPhone? Do you have
debate
an
between me and
iPhone?
CE real
Apollo,
quickly,
do you have an
okay?
iPhone? Apollo, do
And
you have an
what does he
iPhone?
think like him speaking while I'm speaking is gonna make
Alright
it
then.
dominant? Like what is he doing?
Shouldn't have just
So
let
anyways,
him.
yeah. So
Alright
Suzuki,
then.
do you want activity for your server?
1 second. I'm stripping perm.
Yeah, just mute this Nigerian motherfucker real quickly, and then let me and she just like get this thing going.
Yo, what's the topic?
The topic is going to be on God's existence. I'm going to be taking like an agnostic position. I'm going to question like his position and raise like some skeptical objections. Okay.
Especially on the rush, you gotta deal like.
I'm going to just go first, by the way. I'm going to give like a reason to doubt that your position is true and see how you like respond to it. Okay.
Hold on.
Pardon?
Johnny, are you pinging? Make sure you ping everyone
Yeah. Okay.
Already?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I hope so.
Okay, gotcha. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, let me just put my seatbelt on. Yeah, I'd say I'm ready now.
That's
Yeah,
it, seatbelt, what a troll. No way you're debating while you're driving like D1. Just playing. Okay, so let's get this rolling. Ready?
Yeah, strapped up.
Okay, so the topic is going to be God's existence, right? So you're going to be taking the position that God exists. Now, presumably, you're going to want to say that this being is omniscient, correct? Like he believes he knows all true facts. Pardon?
Yeah, una.
Okay, so like for any, and this is why like just shut the fuck up. You're not the debater. God damn. So that would just mean like for example, for any like declarative sentence or proposition, God knows whether it is true or false, right?
Do you say for any proposition, God knows whether it's true or false?
Yeah, so God knows all true propositions.
Yeah, I define omniscience to be knowing all true propositions and believing in no false ones.
Okay, so you'd agree with these conditions. I'm gonna get like 4 conditions, and I'm gonna see if you agree with this. So let's say we have like some belief A, right? So if A is actually the case, then that means God believes that A is true, because God is omniscient and God always believes true beliefs, correct?
Yeah, so like if A exists, then God knows and believes that A exists. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so if A is the case, if it is true that A is the case, right, then God believes that A, because God always have true beliefs, correct?
Yeah.
And if it is not the case that A is true, then God does not believe that A is true, correct?
Yeah.
And if God believes that A is true, then A is true.
That would be the entailment, sure.
And if God does not believe that A is true, then A is not true.
Yeah, because God doesn't believe in things that aren't.
So I'm going to run what is called the Grimm's omniscience paradox. Are you familiar with it?
Nope, never heard of it.
Okay, so how the paradox is going to work, right? And I know you're going to get like really confused real quickly because you're retarded. So the paradox is like pretty simple. So it's going to be like God believes that this sentence is false, right?
God believes that his senses are false, or that senses.
God believes that this sentence is false. It's a self-referential paradox, right? It's called the divine liars.
Oh, so just the liars paradox then?
It's not just the liars paradox, but it's a divine liars paradox. So it's going to entail like a contradiction within God's like omniscience property. So it's going to be the case. So it's going to be the case that like let's say like we have like some proposition, and the proposition just says God believes that X is false, and by X, all X just means is this sentence. So in other words, God believes that the sentence is false.
Yeah.
Are you tracking?
Yeah, I'm tracking, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so if it is true that God believes that the sentence is false, then God believes that the sentence is false, right? And that's going to mean that God has a belief about something which is false. Yeah. So and if it is false that God believes that the sentence is false, then God does not believe that God believes that the sentence is false. So that would mean that God does not believe a true sentence that the sentence is false, which would entail a contradiction, because necessarily speaking, God should believe facts, but God does not believe a fact.
Yeah. Sure. So my whole contention with this is going to be the same contention that I had when Infinity first brought up the original liars paradox. It's going to be that I don't think that something such as this sentence has any truth value, right? So typically we assign truth value, So typically so typically we assign truth values to propositions, right? So for example, I can say that Apollo has red hair, right? Or Apollo has I don't know, small ears, right? That would be a proposition because it could either be true or false. But something such as this.
So you don't think self-referential statements are propositional, correct?
I don't think self-referential statements that, like, so, for example, this statement is false, are propositional now.
So hold on there a second. Do you agree that for any proposition X it involves a predicate, right?
For any proposition X it involves a predicate?
Yes.
Yeah, define what you mean by predicate first.
A predicate is just like an idea which is ascribed to a particular subject.
Give like an example of this. I mean, I guess.
Can you hear me? Like, for example, if I say that CE is like a British, right? He's a British guy, right? That's going to be like a proposition because the British guy is going to be like a predicate which I ascribe to like the subject or the entity CE, right? You'd agree with this, right?
So you're saying that the predicate is just going to be, for lack of a better term, adjective, right? So
yeah, a predicate just informs us of the subject or concept which is being talked about in the proposition, right?
So you're saying that a proposition just involves assigning a predicate to a subject. Is that what you're saying?
Assigning a predicate to a subject and also claiming this predicate to be true, right?
Okay. And then what would you define a subject to be?
The subject is just any specific entity which is being talked about. So in the context of that proposition, the entity which would be talked about in that case would be you, CE, the person. So CE is a British guy. You'd be the subject. You're being talked about in that sentence. And the predicate which is being described, the subject is going to be British guy.
Yeah. I kind of see where this is going, right? I think you're going to argue that the subject here would be the sentence, and then the adjective here or the predicate here would be whether the sentence is false or not, right?
Yeah, but before I even get onto that part, which is pretty obvious, right? I'm going to just lay out this real quickly. I'm going to lay out this real quickly, right? So if I make the proposition, that this sentence is not in Italian, is that non-propositional?
That this sentence is not an Italian?
Is not in Italian language. Is that non-propositional?
It depends. So, for example, right?
You don't think it is true? You don't think it is true that the sentence is not in Italian?
No, because it depends once again, right? So, for example, right, if I was to say this sentence is not in Italian, is in talking about the sentence I'm currently saying is not in Italian, then obviously there's something that we can point towards that we can verify. So we can say, well, let's look at the words.
You can point towards it. It's self-referential. So the whole idea is that what you're pointing towards is the proposition which is being talked about currently, which is the self.
Be able to finish? I don't think this is.
Yes, you're able to finish.
Yeah, I don't think this is analogous, right? Because essentially what we're saying here is if we say that this sentence is Italian, right, we can look at the words within the sentence and verify whether the words correspond to or align with the Italian language. Well, give me a sec.
Okay, dude.
What has Italian do with this?
Is he trying to say that, like, for something to be a proposition, you have to have like some specific investigatable thing empirically? Like what?
I am back. So all I was saying was, right, the difference between this sentence is Italian, or is in Italian, I should say, and this sentence is true or this sentence is false, is that when we say that this sentence is in Italian, for example, I have a dog, this sentence is in Italian, we can look at the words I have a dog and see whether it corresponds to the Italian language. So whether it actually like has any correspondence with the reality. However, when we say something like this sentence is false, what do we actually examine in order to determine whether
we're examining this sentence
reality? Yeah, but what about this?
It doesn't have to be a part of reality. For something to be a proposition, it doesn't have to be something about the external world. So, like, for example, we could have like a case. We could have like a case where, like, in some like metaphysically possible world where solipsism is sure and nothing exists outside of I, right? It is still going to be the case that I exist, right? Yeah. And obviously, when I say I exist, all I'm saying is that existence exists because only I exist. But that's going to still be proposition.
So I don't think you understood the argument here, right? So I'm not
I
saying
understood the argument. It's just a garbage argument. I'm sorry.
No. So I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying that propositions have to be about the external world. That never once left my mouth or was even implicitly implied, right? What I said was that whenever we look at a proposition, we have to determine, because it's true apt, right? Or truth apt, so it has a truth value. And truth, unless you go under some like unorthodox definition of truth, is what's going to mean correspondence with reality. So even if
that's not
like, so even if I have some sort of mental state, for example, I could say, I am a...
Yeah, that's not even true.
Anyways, I wasn't done. You can respond when I'm finished. So, for example, if I was
or I can just respond midway when you're jibber-jabbering.
No. So, for example, if I was to say, I am annoyed with Apollo's arguments today, that's a mental state, right? It's a state that's mind-dependent. and yet it could still be or still have correspondence with reality. Insofar as I could say, well, let me ask
what is
you,
reality?
What's reality?
Yeah.
That which exists, truly.
That which exists?
Yeah.
So it could just be referring to both like a mental state or an extra-mental
mental state. Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, so reality.
So wait, real quickly. So when I say let's just like investigate, let's just picture a scenario where we just create this like possible world, like this universe where only I exist, right? Because solipsism is true in this universe. If I say I exist, is that a proposition?
You exist. So typically, when we talk about the solipsist worldview, right, we're saying that only you exist concretely, and everything else is like this mind-dependent kind of illusion.
No, they're just going to say nothing else exists, right?
Nothing else exists in what form, though, is going to be the question.
Yeah, so let's just consider like everything else to be like an illusion, and they don't actually exist, right? It's just only I exist which exists.
So I exist concretely.
So would that be a proposition?
I exist concretely.
You think solipsism only applies to a possible world where you're a concrete body?
No, I said
that's not true. Yeah, you can have like some possible world where solipsism is true, and in this metaphysically possible world, it is not the case that I'm a physical body. I'm just a non-physical soul.
Did I not just say, okay, first and foremost, right, when we say exist,
you said if it is a concrete body, sure, it still applies even if it is not concrete. It would still be propositional.
That's not what I said. I said if it exists concretely. So even if you're an immaterial
yeah, that's a conditional statement. I'm saying regardless of whether it exists concretely or not, it's still propositional.
No, because what I define to be concretely, right, is to be existing either physically or immaterially, not to exist as, I don't know.
What? You're retarded. You said concrete. Wait, hold on. You said what you define as concrete existence is that which exists either physically or immaterially?
Yeah, because we can have other forms of existence. For example,
nobody defines concrete existence as an immaterial existence.
I wasn't done. I don't really care what
I'm correcting you. Nobody ever defines it like that. You're retarded.
I think you came here to get an understanding of my views, yet you're correcting me for what other people.
Yeah, I'm correcting you after understanding your garbage view. Of course,
essentially, right. I define existence, right? Well, the existence I'm talking about, because we can have different forms of existence. We can have existence within a domain of discourse. I could say a square circle exists insofar as I can talk about and reference a square circle as an idea, but it doesn't exist concretely. It doesn't have any sort of substance, whether physical or
that's not even what an idea is. It's neither positively nor negatively conceivable, so it's not an idea.
And I think that truth is corresponding.
It doesn't fit any forms of conceivability notions, retard. Okay, hold on. So square circle. There are two forms of conceivability notions. You have positive conceivability and you have negative conceivability. Which one of these forms of conceivability does a square circle fits within?
Go ahead and define positive and negative conceivability.
Holy shit, you're fucking retarded. So positive conceivability is simply the form of conceivability which involves some mental imagery of some object X. Negative conceivability is going to be some form of conceivability which entails some sort of like semantic coherency, right? So again, which form of these forms of conceivability would a square circle fit within the category of?
When you say semantic coherency, could you elaborate a bit more on what that means to you?
Meaning that it is something that we can understand and speak about in a coherent manner.
When you say, so you just used the word within the explanation for the word, right? So what do you mean by
Of course, retard is a semantic primitive.
No. So for example, if I was to ask you, I don't know, what do you mean by, I don't know, tall, right? And you'd say, well, something that's tall is something that's tall. That's not really having any explanatory
Tall power. Is not a semantic primitive.
Do you mean so?
Tall is not a semantic primitive.
When you say coherent,
you're autistic. When you say the shit is analogy all the time. That's not even the semantic primitive.
When you say it's a semantic primitive, that's obviously what.
Yeah, let me know when you track of the conversation. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat it one more. We're gonna run this back again. We're gonna run this one more time. Okay. So if you want to know what semantic coherence means, it's just gonna be something which is coherent given the formative semantic.
So when you say coherent, do you mean it aligns with the rules of logic? Can you just explain what coherent means?
Yeah, it's gonna be something which aligns with the rules of logic, obviously.
Okay, yeah. So then if I was to describe something like a square circle that doesn't coincide with the laws of logic or align with the laws of logic, would that be impossibly negatively conceivable?
It is incoherent.
Okay, perfect. So I don't agree with this binary that you set, this disjunction that's either positively conceivable or negatively conceivable. Why do I have to?
So what's the third form of this? What's the third form of conceivability?
As in it exists within a domain of discourse. When you say conceivable, what do we mean? We can reference things.
You don't know what conceivability means? You're the one who's denying the disjunction, so presumably you believe that there's another form of conceivability to which you can ascribe square circle towards. What's the other form of conceivability notion you're assigning here?
Yeah, so typically when something has a substance that we can refer to, right? So for example,
substance, what do you mean by substance?
Yeah, so a substance is just going to be like the whatness of a thing, right? So, for example, a square
Whatness.
circle.
What is whatness?
The whatness, what the thing is, Apollo. Connect the dots. So, for
What
example,
the thing is?
circle,
Yeah. What does it mean for what does it mean for there to be a whatness regarding square circle?
Yeah. So, for example, a square circle is going to be any like particular that has both the attributes of a square and a circle simultaneously. Now, obviously, this is illogical because the square.
Yeah, what
and
does
the
that
circle.
mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Yeah. What does it mean for something to be both a square and not a square at the same time?
No. For something to have the attributes of both a square and a circle at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
I'm saying that. What does it mean for? Yeah, if something both has the attributes of a square and a circle, that means it is both a square and not a square. Because a square has 4 edges and the circle does not have any edges. You fucking retard.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be the same thing as square and not square. That's still contradictory.
Yeah, what's the issue of this, Apollo?
I'm not saying there's an issue. I'm asking you to semantically clarify the concept. You're autistic.
Yeah. So for example,
what does it mean for something to be both a square and not a square?
What does it mean for something to be both not a square and not a square? Or to be
both
a square
and not a square, retard.
I know when you say what does it mean, right? I'm a bit confused because, for example, if I was to ask
you, you don't know what it means for someone to ask you for semantical analysis of a definiendo.
I wasn't done, right? So can you?
You already made a point. I'm really confused on what you're confused about.
So I said I was confused. I was going to explain why, and then you kind of just assumed, right? So are you going to let me finish?
What did I assume? I asked you a question.
You assume, yeah. So
how was me asking you a question an assumption?
Okay, perfect. So all I meant was
perfect.
What you mean by
your response to my question is perfect? Or are you retarded?
Anyways, so I'm confused on what you mean when you ask me, oh, what do I mean by a square or an object or particular, both having the
do you know what the word mean? Do you know what the word mean means?
Right. Because when we typically ask for
do you know what the word mean means?
When we typically ask for a meaning, right? We typically ask for like I don't know. Some called like explicans, right? Or in your terms, explanans, right? So a way to convey.
No, that's not even how you use the word explanans. No, you're wrong. You're wrong in the word usage there. Explanans is something related to abductive theoretical virtues. What are you talking about?
I think that the way
explanans is an explanation for an explanandum. That has nothing to do with definitional
I don't really know what you're talking about when you say that. But you
just misused the word because you thought you were like a smart ass a while ago. You're retarded. You don't use the word explanans in that conversational context.
You want to respond?
I was just responding by saying you just misused the word completely.
You want to repeat my argument? I don't think you got it.
You don't have an argument currently.
Okay, I'll just repeat it one more time for the audience.
Your question was your point was you being confused of what I mean by something. That's not an argument, dum.
No. So the whole argument was that typically when we ask for a meaning, right, we ask for like an additional or some additional information that allows us to better understand or convey an idea, right? So if I was to say, for example,
additional information to what specifically?
So I was going to explain.
Information is not additional; it's intrinsic to the concept.
No. So
you're just elaborating on the information which is intrinsic to the concept. That's not adding any information.
Should I speak in like Jamaican patois, please, so like you can stop talking? Like
you can't even speak properly. What are you talking about? You're like studying and all that shit. What are you talking about? Like, who are you to talk about? Oh, do I have to speak patois? You can't even understand the conversation. Like, who would even talk about someone's English skills?
Appeals just aren't working for you, right?
The trash rhetoric is so dreadful. Holy shit! So I'm gonna actually track the conversation.
Is Apollo talking about trash ass rhetoric, nigga? Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Okay, so Apollo.
Who's that retard?
Anyways, Apollo, all we're gonna do here, right? Is I'm gonna just say the argument, right? So when we say additional information, for example, if I'm talking to APT, and I'm like APT, what do you mean when you say run across the block? Like, what do you mean? And he might say, okay, when I say run across the block, I mean from this point to this point, cover that distance. I'm giving additional information or further explaining the idea of running across the block. So when you ask
that's not telling what you mean by something. That's giving a sense of account.
When you ask me, what does it mean to be a square circle? I gave you the essence of a square circle because under a serious essentialist view, right, what it means to be something is giving the essence or the attributes that a thing would possess. I don't really think there's any further.
Yeah, that's irrelevant, right?
So I don't think there's a further.
So like for example, I can just use the word quada, right? And you ask me what does quada means, and I just tell you all that quada means is bala, right? Well, what the fuck does bala means? I would just say bala is just the essence of quada. But just because I'm simply using like a string of words to supposedly describe the essence of something does not actually mean that this thing even has an essence in the first place, or am I actually describing any concept in mind? Right? Saying, well, I'm using a string of words to supposedly describe something linguistically is not something which is necessarily emblematic of the conclusion that you're actually describing anything to even give an actual proposition or a definition in the first place. So I'm still unclear what you mean by a square circle insofar as if there's going to be something which fits any of the notions of conceivability.
Yeah. So a square circle. When we say conceivable, I don't know if you mean like form a mental image of, because if you're
No.
using that, okay.
I gave two forms of conceivability. One which does not rely on mental imagery.
Okay, yeah. So the semantic coherency point of conceivability, right? I'm saying I might not be able to conceive, or let me rephrase this. I'm gonna be able to say, okay, look, a square circle is incoherent, right?
I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to give you like a further clarification of semantic coherence if that's fine with you, okay?
I might say, for example,
because you're still confusing this, I'm going to give you like a further elaboration of what I mean by semantic coherence.
I might say, for example, that square circle.
Okay, so he's like still talking, even though he's like confused what I mean by semantic coherence.
Hold
Makes
on,
some sense.
I can still reference.
Yeah, you're still talking about something which you don't even understand. Per your own admission.
I can still reference. So
okay, so it just keeps like jibber jabber in the waffle.
I might say a square circle is incoherent.
Okay, good.
Now I could still reference a square circle within my talk and within my like domain of discourse, and so it still exists in some form or some manner. I'm not saying it exists concretely. Your disjunction might apply to concrete existences, but I'm not saying that. Well, what I'm saying is that the disjunction has to apply to all forms of existence, right? Because the square circle still exists in some form, that being the domain of discourse. Do you want to go ahead and respond?
Whatever that yapping was. So anyways, to be really clear on this, you still don't even understand what I mean by semantic coherence. So I'm going to just like explain it to you further, because again, this whole point is predicated on your lack of understanding, per your own admission, by the way, of what I simply mean by semantic coherence, okay? So all I mean by semantic coherence, and what determines semantic coherence of some like specific definiendum, is going to simply be the fact that this definiendum is not ruled out a priori, right? So if it is ruled out a priori, then it lacks semantic incoherence. If it is not ruled out a priori, then it lacks, or sorry, then it possesses semantic coherence.
Sí, señor. ¿Por qué? Are you gonna continue, my nigga? Like, what the fuck?
Is he retarded? Like, are you gonna respond?
What I heard was, so when we say,
this guy's like so lost. Oh no.
The definiendum of the definiendum refers to an a priori definiendum that is ruled out by the definiendum.
That's not what anyone said. You're not even tracking. You're schizoing out right now.
Like, reference my argument.
You're schizoing out right now. Look at this guy schizoing out. Holy shit.
My argument?
So like, that wasn't even remotely close to what I said.
Okay, so Apollo, right? We can just go back to like,
it's fine if you don't have the IQ necessary to track the conversation, because your IQ still stuck in the fucking single digit score mark. That's fine, okay? But don't try to project your lack of understanding onto the conversation as if I said anything you said, okay? So I'm gonna repeat it one more time. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it one more time for your retardedness, okay? So what I simply said, you limestone brain having ass motherfucker, is simply shut up, retard, relax, quiet down. So anyways, what I said was simply that semantic coherence is gonna be determined in virtue of whether something is ruled a priori. You fucking dumb. So track the fucking point and give a relevant response this time.
Yeah. So anywho, right? Essentially, when we typically talk about coherency, I don't really care for that the whole disjunction thing. I want to circle back to the main point, because what you brought up, Apollo. I let you talk, so you're gonna let me talk.
You're stuttering,
what you initially brought up was a divine lies paradox, where you said that this sentence is false has a truth value. Yet when you say that this sentence is false, the subjective being the sentence, right, doesn't have anything that we can correspond or index to reality. When we say square circle in the
wait, sorry, why is it the case that it has nothing which it can correspond?
What about the sentence is false? Or what about
wait, sorry, could you justify the claim that it has nothing which it can correspond?
So what about the sentence corresponds to reality?
Wait, sorry, I am asking for an argument, not a question. So I'm going to repeat it one more time, motherfucker. So it's going to simply be, what is going to be the argument that the proposition, the sentence is false, has nothing which it can correspond
to? I'm just going to ask you for the argument.
Think harder.
So I'm just gonna ask you, like, what is the thing in the sentence that corresponds?
Wait. So you know this. So just to speak to the audience, because this guy's not even tracking the purpose of my question. So you know this, guys. I asked him for an argument for why it is the case that the proposition, the sentence is false, is not corresponding with anything, and he keeps on reiterating the question, which is not an argument. Okay, so I'm gonna ask it one more time. You retard. What's the argument for why this sentence is false has nothing to correspond with?
Yeah, because it's ambiguous. We don't know what this sentence is.
Wait, sorry. Why something being ambiguous means that it has nothing which it can correspond with?
Because there's nothing to refer it to, right? So when
when I say that someone is bald, when I say that, wait, hold on. When I say that someone is bald, is that proposition?
I was not talking, right? So when
you say that someone is bald, is that proposition?
When we say I have nothing to refer it to, taking your Italian example, right? If I say that this sentence is in Italian, we can refer to the sentence and then refer it to Italian. right? So we
yeah,
can
likewise, when I say the sentence is false, I can refer to the sentence and I can refer to what it means for something to be false, given a specific truth theory.
So wait, so this sentence is false because this sentence is false. Is that going to be the argument?
You're dumb. I just utilize your same line of reasoning to extrapolate why it would necessarily follow that me claiming that the sentence is false would be proposition. He's lost. Like, you're flabbergasted. Like, you're like thinking so hard for a response right now. Think harder, dumb. Where did he go?
Damn, bro, why we spurting, bro?
Wait, where is he? Where is he?
Yeah, so what's going to be the explanation, right?
Look, see, I'm going to just give you like a pro tip, okay? It's very obvious not qualified for this debate. Just open up a new tab next time, search up Grimm's Omniscience Paradox, download the PDF, and come back, retard. Because you're not even tracking the fucking argument.
What's going to be the explanation for why the sentence is false?
This is a dreadful performance, see? Like, what are you doing? Like, what were you even thinking, trying to call me out? The king of debate, what were you thinking, dude?
What's going to be the explanation for why? What's going to be the explanation for why the sentence is false?
Yeah, just give the argument. Just give the argument for why this non-proposition. I'm waiting.
Yeah. So, for example, if I was to say a sentence or a thing is false if and only if...
A deductive argument, please. What's the first premise?
Yeah, so P1, a sentence is false if and only if it doesn't correspond to reality, right?
Why is that true? Why do you think truth theories is why do you think truth theories is confined to the correspondence theory?
Okay, so what's your definition of truth theory? I think we should start with that.
Wait, sorry, no, it's not about the definition of truth theory, motherfucker. It's about whether your truth theory is necessarily true.
What in the world?
What? You have multiple different types of truth theories, dumb. You have a prosententialist kind of truth theory. You have a correspondence theory. You have a coherency theory. You have a fucking you have a pragmatic kind of truth. You have like a fucking deflationist kind of. You have semantic deflationism. There are multiple different truth theories, dude.
I asked for your truth theory.
My truth theory is irrelevant. You're making the claim that there's a biconditional relation between that which is a fact and that which is a correspondence truth theory. I just want the argument for that.
You want the argument for why truth is that which corresponds to reality?
No, dumb. I want the argument for why it is the case that there's a biconditional relation between facts and that which corresponds to reality. Someone can be a pluralist about truth, right? And can agree. Wait, hold on. Just to be clear.
This guy just talks a lot. Like, you talk.
Yeah, just to be clear, because you asked like a bunch of questions, right? Just to be really clear on this, because I don't even understand what truth theory is. Someone can be like a contextualist about truth insofar as they believe that what determines truth in a specific proposition is going to depend on the context. So, like in some cases, which determines what is true is going to be like some correspondence relation, and in some other case, that which determines that something being true is going to be like a sentential property, right? So it's not really clear to me what the question you're asking is.
Yeah. So I let you speak. I'd appreciate if you let me speak. So when we say something is true, like obviously with a truth theory, right, we're just defining what it means to be true and false. So under my truth theory, the definitions of true and false would be corresponding to and not corresponding to reality definitionally. That's what it would mean. So when I say...
sorry, do you not believe that someone can be wrong about your own
talking? I wasn't done talking. So if I was to say, right, for example, the thing is true. It's the same as me saying this thing corresponds to reality. So the reason why it's biconditional is because, in a sense, I'm just restating the definition of truth, right? What was your question?
This is retarded. So like it is possible for someone's conceptual analysis of a given word is false, right? So like given, for example, like a valid argument. Do you believe it is possible for someone to give an invalid argument?
I think it's possible for someone to give an invalid argument.
Okay, and do you agree that the validity of an argument is predicated on rules of inferences?
I think an argument is valid if and only if the inference rules are.
Okay, cool. And do you agree that inference rules are derivable from the principles of logic?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can have someone who believes in all the principles of logic, but still give an invalid argument given the fact that there's some conceptual error which occurs within their epistemic process. So it is pretty obvious that you saying, wait, hold on, just to be really clear on this. If you're going to want to make the argument that, hey, by truth, I just mean like some correspondence relation, it is still possible that your interpretation of your conceptual landscape is actually flawed, given some specific other conceptual facts, which are embedded within your conceptual landscape that you're either unaware of when you make that judgment.
Wait, give me a sec.
Yeah, what happened to the debate, bro?
I am back. So what was the question, sir? I lost track. Oh, I think I was responding to your whole logic thing, right? So simply put, I just don't think that's analogous, right? So your whole view was that you could have just shown that and said we can just have a misunderstanding of the concept, and that can just lead right to a wrong belief. So you can misunderstand the laws of logic, or you can believe in them but misunderstand how they apply in a specific scenario, and then that could cause your proposition or your argument to be invalid. That's completely fine, right? But the difference here is that one is like a tautology and the other one isn't, right? So, for example, we have this source, this idea source, we can call it, which is the laws of logic, law of non-contradiction, law of identity, etc., etc. And then I can try and apply this, right, to an inference rule, which is still derived from the laws of logic, but it's not the laws of logic, right? So it comes from this thing, that's its origin, but it's not the same thing as it. That's different from me saying we have the law of non-contradiction, and I can misunderstand the law of non-contradiction. So I can believe in it, know what it is, and yet still say, for example, the law of non-contradiction is true if and only if A cannot equal A and equal B at the same time, for example, in the same respect. That would just be a tautology. So I just think that the whole analogy was different. I've noticed he's left, so I'll just give my little conclusion. So essentially, right, the whole argument was that self-referential statements don't really exist. When we say stuff like, I don't know, this sentence is in Italian, well, there are words that the sentence has that we can then reference to Italian, which is also existing. And then we can say, well, the sentence's words exist, Italian exists. We can compare the two, and we come to the conclusion that, wow, this sentence isn't in Italian. I'm not speaking in Italian. You guys can understand me, right? Great. When we say something like this sentence is false, not only is the subject ambiguous, like what about this sentence is false, but this sentence, right, being false would imply that something about the sentence or the subject doesn't actually reference reality or correspond to the reality. But since we don't know what about the subject corresponds to or doesn't correspond to reality, it simply wouldn't be propositional, right? It would be the same thing as saying, I don't know, this man is tall, but we don't know who the man is, right? Well, how can we really deduce whether the man is tall or not? And so that was just going to be the argument. I don't think his responses were very appealing. In response to like the whole conceivability thing, I don't think that was really appealing either, because well, existence is simply just to be, right? And so obviously you can exist in different forms. You can exist within space-time, that's a form of existence. You can exist outside of space-time, immaterially, that's another form of existence. And you can exist in the domain of discourse, which is another form of existence. Just because something is like incoherent does not necessarily mean that it doesn't exist in some form, because if it didn't exist, then we wouldn't be able to talk about it and reference it. That's going to be the whole argument. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me see what he said. Oh, he's coming back? Okay, perfect.
He said white little nigga.
Yeah, I said he's coming back. Perfect. The fuck?
Okay. Anyway, when is Apollo going to realize that nobody in this VC likes him? Who's gonna break it to him?
I don't know why he started to spur, bro. Like from the beginning of the debate, he started to spur. Like, bro,
Let me just appeal to the audience. Like nobody in the audience likes
he's like a
him.
retard. Do you know about positive conceivability? The definition is actually not a retarded principle of your tree flat.
Do you not even know? You don't even know about the definiendum? The definiendum? Like, bro.
Did you see how he went on that? Like, he went on like a 1 minute 30-second tangent to say you can understand it, you can believe in something, and yet you can have like a mistaken understanding of it. I was like,
bro, he's literally a 5'9", 20-kilo malnourished Jamaican kid whose parents are related to each other and inbred, right? And he read one philosophy book and has been hanging out with Singh, and now he thinks he's cool and he thinks he's the shit. He's had this ego since 2022, and he has like no fucking friends. So, every single friend every single person I should say that used to be friends with him in 2022 no longer fucks with him, except for like one person because he's an egotistical loser, right? Who can't hold friends or maintain a relationship. He's a fucking freak, and he's.
Nah, but I'm not gonna lie. This whole
and he's Jewish.
I think I've been trying to get out. Okay, he's back up. So I'm gonna move on.
Apollo, I have a question.
Sir? How?
I don't know why you're calling him sir. Anyway, Apollo, you do realize nobody in this VC.
Bro, please no chill shouldn't, because if you ask him this question, he's gonna derail, bro. He's like, why is this retard speaking to me? The king of debating.
Let me chill. But Apollo, your teeth are yellow.
Okay, so Apollo, are you here? Like, I want to kind of get this over with. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we want to some other arguments that are more like appealing or compelling. Hello,
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Bobby. Yeah. So
So
the whole
anyways,
argument is gonna
what were
be
we talking about before I left?
So you made the argument that we can have the rules of logic, we can have inference rules, and yet you can believe in the rules of logic and believe in inference rules, and yet make an invalid argument. But I said that's different because on one
You have
hand,
beliefs which are wrong about your conceptual landscape.
yeah. So we can have like no, okay. So the reason why this doesn't apply, right, or the reason why I think is this analogous is because on one hand we have the laws of logic and the inference rules, which are derived from but not equivalent to or identical to the laws of logic. And then we have, on another hand, the definition of a word, which is identical to the word itself, insofar as if I say this thing is red, I'm essentially saying this thing is the definition of red, right? And so
let's say, for example, we have
can...
like some specific entity which is being thought about, right? And like we say that the definition of this, like my concept of this is going to be XYZ. Is it logically possible that my concept of word, let's say word F, is it possible that my concept of word F being X is a false proposition? Is it possible that my concept of this word is actually much larger than what I thought it was, but there are specific traits or facts regarding my understanding of this concept or word more specifically that I forgot about, or rather I was aware of when I made that statement that this is my definition? Is that specifically possible?
I think that's possible, yeah, sure.
Okay, so that would mean that it is logically possible that when you say truth is just that which corresponds to reality, it is just the case that if to be aware of some other facts in the universe, or to be aware of other specific ideas of what truth is, either your own idea would be changed or modified, or it is just the case that you're currently just wrong when it comes to when you're specific analysis of like the concept of what truth is. In fact, and just to not like continue this point on for too long, because I think this is like an irrelevant point, but there are like certain objections towards like correspondence theory. There are even objections to semantic deflationism theory, or deflationism theories, right? Which is like another form of theory.
Apollo,
Obviously,
the
if
only
they're
thing
like
that
just
needs
like
to
mere
update is your
definitions,
mother's
then
dead.
there would not be any specific like relevant or sensitive objections that philosophers could raise against each truth theory. But obviously, that's not the case, right? So.
Yeah. So essentially, what you said was, if the creator of the universe, if he exists, just opened your eyes, like took you on like a mental tour, like he did with Job,
No, that's what
maybe some of your beliefs of the world would change, right? Like I agree. I don't think I know everything. I'm not that arrogant. So I think that definitely, if I'm exposed to some information, it is definitely possible that some of my takes could change. Hell,
it's not only that. It's not only like if you're
it's
like more
right.
However, it could be the case that like wait, it could be the case. No, wait, just to clarify, because you seem to like be trivializing what I'm actually saying. It's not just like if you're aware of more facts of the universe, but also there's a case that like you could like have the same collection of facts that you have right now, right, in some other world, but in that other world, your concept of what truth is different, right? So it's not only just predicated on the amount of facts you have in a given world, but it's also predicated on the specific like for example, when you're like wrong about like the concept or your own understanding of a specific word, like that's pretty possible, even if it's just like a mere definitional process that's being talked about. Yeah. But really, I think we're like going way off point. To be honest, I think we should be focusing on the propositional part. Like, do you agree with this? Yeah. So I'm gonna just ask you these questions. I'm gonna see if you're like in agreement with this. So the first question is gonna be like, do you agree that how we determine something being a proposition or not is if there's something being talked about, right? And also if there's something that's being ascribed to that is being talked about, or there's something more in determining whether a specific sentence, a specific given sentence, is propositional or not.
I think that well, okay, yeah. The way I describe it would be, I think a proposition is. Wait, give me a sec once again.
No, I don't want the definition. I want you to like give me your own personal means of determining whether a specific sentence is actually a proposition. You just give me like how just like lay out the determination process you have in your mind. You're like determining whether something is propositional or non-propositional, respectively.
I'd say something is non-propositional.
Mm-hmm.
Something would be non-propositional if it doesn't correspond, or it cannot clearly correspond to reality, and something would be propositional if it does.
Okay, so let's say so if for something to be a proposition, it has to correspond with reality, correct?
Or it has to be determined, or it has to be able to be determined if it corresponds to reality. That's why I said clearly.
Okay, so it has to be determined if it was to correspond with reality. So, like, what would be your concept of false propositions? Like let's say like a false proposition. How would you determine that being a proposition, regardless of it not corresponding with reality?
So like for example, I might have misunderstood your question, but I might say, for example, the word Apollo has 3 letters, right? Then we can look at the word Apollo, and then we can see, okay, the word Apollo does not have 3 letters. It has more. That's like 6. And
Yeah,
so
so we get that there's like a lack of isomorphic relation between the belief state and what's being talked about in reality, or what reality actually is. I guess a lack of isomorphic relation. What I'm saying here is that given this lack of isomorphic relation, how would you determine this thing being a proposition?
How would I determine what thing being a proposition?
The proposition that Apollo, the word Apollo has 3 letters. We both agree this is a false statement. It lacks an isomorphic relation with the actual world. So I'm saying that given this absence of traits within the sentence, like it does not have in the correspondence relation, how would you determine this being a proposition?
How would I determine this being a proposition? I'll determine it being a proposition because I can determine whether the sentence is true or
not. So you're saying, so if it is logically possible for it to determine some given sentence to be a proposition, then it is the case that it is propositional. So what's the logical contradiction in me determining this sentence is false to be a proposition or to be true?
Well, I don't know if the way you phrased it would be quite right. What I'm saying is that if we can determine a sentence, or if we can determine a sentence to be true or false, right, possibly, then that sentence will be a proposition.
Am I possibly just talking about like a logical modal scope, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter really.
So that means that if you reject the sentence, this sentence is false to be a proposition, then given how you analyze the determination process of what a propositional sentence would look like, it would be entailed that you believe that saying the sentence is false is something to which it is logically possible for us to determine the truth value of. So how is it logically impossible for me to ascribe or determine the truth value of this proposition, of this sentence, supposedly?
How is it logically impossible for us to determine the truth value of the sentence?
Yeah. The sentence is false. Why is it logically impossible for me to determine the truth value of that sentence? Well, if it is not logically impossible, then that means I can determine. That means it would be propositional.
Yeah. So in order for us to know whether the sentence, I'm not going to be able to put it in a P and not P for you just yet. Maybe if I talk about it a bit more. But
okay, go for it. I'm going to be charged. I'm going to allow you to explain your view and see what's going on.
Yeah. So the statement.
I'm about to explain why you need data on this, freak.
Typically, when we say like this sentence, or typically when we talk about falsehood, we're typically saying that something that I have said.
Oh, my bad. Go for it.
Oh yeah. So when we're saying something is false or true, typically we're saying something that I have said doesn't actually accord with what is real or what exists. But with this sentence is false, the subject, that being this sentence, right? There's no way to determine, since we don't know what relation that this sentence has, either to reality or to some mental state. It has no relation at all. And so there'll be no way to determine it. Because I think the only way we can determine things being true or not is if they have some relation to some.
So see, I'm gonna be really, like when I say this, I'm being respectful because like I'm not gonna be like insulting that often. I respectfully believe that was like a non-sequitur, like it was a vacuous response. And I'm just gonna like help you out in this, okay? So I'm just gonna like give you your own arguments in like a syllogism format, like a modus solens format, and then I just wanted like to type P2, okay? So your argument is gonna simply be this, right? So it's gonna be the case under your view that if something is propositional, then we can determine, or it is logically possible for us to determine it being true or false. Premise 2, it is not logically possible for us to determine the liar sentence to be true or false. Conclusion, the liar sentence is non-propositional, right? So you're committed to wanting to say that premise 2 is true, right? So I'm just gonna want the argument why premise 2 would be true for it to even be justified in rejecting this being a proposition or not.
I just put the syllogism form in chat for me or for you, right?
Yeah, modus tollens. P implies Q, not Q, therefore not P. What's the justification for not Q? The second premise.
Yeah. So the way I syllogize it, because I'm not sure about the way you syllogize it, just P1, a thing can be determined to be true or false, or a thing can be determined to be a proposition, if and only if it relates to some existing particular, whether mental or instrumental. Or in other words, a thing can be determined to be true or false, if and only if we can relate the subject back to some existing thing. The liars paradox or the divine liars paradox thing doesn't relate to some existing thing, right? Either mental or extra.
Don't think the sentence exists?
The sentence can exist, sure, but that's not what we're...
That means it is the case that it is propositional.
Yeah, but when we say that the sentence is false, are we talking about the sentence not existing?
Yeah, the sentence is false is false. That's the sentence that's being referred to. I don't see the use of it.
No, but if I say the sentence is false, when we say it's false, do we mean that the sentence doesn't exist?
No.
So what do we mean by we say?
For example, unicorns. Like you'd agree, like given your own concept of existence, at least, right?
Yeah.
You said existence is going to be something which is reflective of the domain of a mental state or an mental state, right? So given that concept, it would be the case that unicorns exist, but the reason as to why it is not true is given the lack of isomorphic relation between unicorn-like entities and the actual world state of affairs independently of the mind, right?
Yeah. So if I was
even under your view, you can have an existent object. Sorry to interrupt you. Even under your view, you can have an existent object which is still something which is false, right? There's not. It's like it's the case that it is false to say that it exists, or it is something which is. Pardon?
Yeah, but I don't think you're answering the question. When you say that this sentence is false, what does that mean?
That just means that it is not true.
Yeah, obviously, to say something is false is to obviously.
So either it's going to be something which is incompatible with some given conceptual schemes, or there's going to be something which does not relate to an external world.
Wait, hold on. So when you say something about conceptual scheme, we can start with that option first. What do you mean by conceptual scheme?
It's just going to be some given like set of rules that is baked in within their concepts, insofar as these are going to be the starting point for either a knowledge system or some other given metaphysical concept.
Can you give an example?
Like the laws of logic is a pretty simple example. That's going to be a conceptual scheme, right? The laws of logic don't have to exist physically or non-physically for it to be true. It is still true, right? Like think of like let me just like put it like this, right? Like let's say we have let's say we have like an empty world, right? Like a world where nothing exists, right? And by nothing, I don't mean actual nothingness existing. By nothing, I just mean a complete lack of things existing. So there's a complete lack of things, right? It is still the case that A equals A would be true in this world, but A equals A being true is not going to be fixed by some given properties, whereas there has to be like some mental object or some extra mental object which exists, right? That's still going to be the determiner of the truthness of the proposition A equals A. What determines this thing being true is given some analytic relation to our conceptual schemes, right?
Okay, sure, right. But when we say that this sentence is false, then there's nothing about the subject that goes against our conceptual schemes. Let's take the rules of logic, for example. This sentence is false doesn't seem to me, at least, to go against the law of identity or the law of non-contradiction.
I'm agnostic on that. If we assign the principle of bivalence to that sentence, there's going to be some contradictory entailments. So I'm agnostic on whether it leads to a contradiction or not. But I just want to see how you can resolve the paradox. Because remember, I'm a theist, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying if this I'm saying that regardless, right? Because I'm also agnostic, because we just don't know, right? If this sentence means, or if what we mean by this sentence could be, I don't know, Chrome's PFP is green, for example, then I can now determine whether
this. Wait, sorry, it can't be agnostic on whether it leads to a contradiction, like the omniscience thing. You can't be agnostic on that. You have to be fully taking the position that it necessarily does not lead to a contradiction.
No, I'm agnostic as to whether the sentence is false. We just don't know, and that's why I'm saying we cannot know, and that's why it's not.
Wait, sorry. So if you agree, so if you're agnostic on whether it is false, then that means also granted the epistemic possibility of it being false.
You're granting
so that means it is proposition.
Granting the epistemic possibility of it being false.
Wait, hold on. We're just going to run this back. Wait, just real quickly. Just real quickly. You said earlier on, and it's unrecorded, by the way. You said earlier on, and everyone can attest. See, just relax. You can give a response after.
I said I agree.
You said earlier on, and everyone can attest to this, and it's on the recording. You said that if it is possible for us to determine the true value of some given proposition that was given
Hello?
He cut out or something.
Yo, Polly, your mic is not working, bro.
This dude got a whole tornado fucking siren in his mic, Archie. What's going on, bro?
Yo, Saka, can you go on?
Yeah, that's just not gonna be a
I need to
concession, bro.
finish my midterm and then I can get on.
So how long?
Probably like 45 minutes.
Cannot hear you, bro.
45 minutes, probably.
Is Preston on?
I mean, he's definitely in VC. You could ping him. He might be on.
What's his name?
Swim dog sauce.
Fuck is he making zombie noises, bro?
Wait.
He
stop
like, he reached the climax. He said, "Oh, he conceded."
Wait, is it good on?
Yeah, there's no tornado siren anymore.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, see, you're getting shit on.
No, stop talking to me.
This is not.
I don't want to hear from you, bro. Please.
You need to summon your domain or something. I don't even know. Like activate your CT. I don't even know.
I don't care what this nigga has to say.
It's bad, bro. It's bad, bro.
Every time he talks to me, he just says some bullshit, bro. I don't give a shit what he has to say to me, bro.
Is this like your way of like projecting and shit? Because you're getting just like shit on.
Goodness me.
Goodness.
If he wants to debate, I'll debate him. I don't mind.
You said what?
Need some booty.
Oh, I thought so. Oh, okay.
But just in case Apollo doesn't come back, I don't know if he sent any messages in chat. But I'm pretty sure what he's saying is that the contradiction, or not the contradiction, but the concession is going to be, I said previously in the debate that something is going to be propositional if we can determine whether it corresponds to reality or not, right? And then I just said, give me a And then I just said that the sentence can, if in some form we can determine whether it corresponds to reality or not, possibly, since I was agnostic to it. But obviously, right, he's kind of taking it out of context. So if this sentence is false, you mean that the sentence exists, right? And obviously it exists in some form, and so the sentence just wouldn't be false, right? In that sense, we can determine. But until we know what we mean when we say that this sentence is false, right? If it's something about the sentence that's false, in a way, then there's no way for us to really determine that. It's just going to be impossible. So it just depends on what truth theory you're really talking about. Not even truth theory, rather, but just the subject, which is kind of what I was trying to say. But
yeah, facts, bro.
Facts. I know, like, I have like a PhD in truth theory.
Did anyone listen?
You have to have like bottom 5 rhetoric, like at least bottom 5 rhetoric.
He's the GOAT.
It's bad, bro. It's real bad.
My cornrows itch, bro.
It's like the minute your vocal cords start fluctuating, like everyone's ears just deactivate. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, man.
This nigga's beating his dick.
Alright, cool.
What's good, Paradox?
Perfectos muchísimos. Where's Apollo, bro? Like, is he coming back or King of is he back? No.
Nigga thought that was Apollo. Yo, Snail. Bro. Ken Carson, he dropped a new video. He finally dropped a succubus one. Like, the visuals are actually, like, hella fire, I can't lie. Bro, do you niggas have social anxiety in the Yo, get me out this lane.
You niggas do have social anxiety, bro.
I think they're just all waiting for Apollo and fucking C, and then they just did not speak, bro.
Yeah, facts, bro.
Alright, time to turn this into a fucking Fortnite VC. Where's Hamster, bro?
Oh, is it a bit over or what?
The left, your answer
He kind of
left.
just left, right? So I'll just take it as like
Yeah,
a better
he left.
Is that a W concession? Is that a CW?
It's not even a
Apologies back.
W because you just
Nah,
spoke in your space time. I only had like 10 minutes to actually talk properly. Oh, he's back. Perfect.
Came back. I don't even see him in VC.
No, he said that in chat.
Yo, Apollo, speak.
He's not in VC.
He is, bro. He's right next to
No,
me.
Mic up, Apollo.
he's not in
Yo,
VC.
Apollo,
What's up? What's up? What's up?
It's not Apollo, bro.
baby.
I'm Apollo. Oh shit! Fuck. No, no.
Alright, now he's back. Yeah, go ahead. Can you explain what the concession was?
He's not here, bro. Just wait for him to come back. He's back now.
Yo, see, what's up?
Yeah, I'm here. Were you gonna explain how I conceded?
Hmm?
Were you gonna explain how I conceded?
Oh yeah, sure. You said you're agnostic on whether it is false or not. That means if you're agnostic on whether it is false, then that means you agree that it is possible for it to not be, for it to be false.
No, because obviously when we say this sentence is false, right? I said that it depends on what we're saying, right? So if we say by false it means this sentence doesn't exist, right? Then obviously we could say that this sentence is false, right? So when we say this sentence is false, what do you think that means? Is what I'm asking. And if we go by like my truth theory, which is which is just it corresponds to or doesn't correspond to reality. And we have some like further issues that I kind of want to deal with. Hold on. Yeah, so I keep getting interrupted, but I'll try to finish this sentence. So essentially, right, the issue would just be there's nothing.
Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? Yo, can anyone hear me?
Or just call it out. We can hear you, bro. Just wait for Apollo and see to come back.
I'm checking.
Yeah, so 4 times the term. And the issue is just going to be when we say something is true or false, we're saying that a fact about the noun is not in accordance with reality, or the noun itself is not in accordance with reality. So, for example, if I say, I don't know, the sky is blue, the sky is a noun, and then blue is the adjective with a predicate, whatever. And that's obviously me saying that this is a fact about the sky. And you can say, well, this is in accordance with reality. But with this sentence is false, there's nothing about the sentence, or there's no fact about the sentence. I can say, okay, yeah, this is the core of reality or not. So I was just saying that this noun is false. I don't think that works, right? I agree. I think it's possible to determine. Because obviously, right? Because obviously, one more second. I'm chewing. But yeah, it'll be possible to determine because there's no fact about the sentence that is in question, right? So the sentence is false doesn't really, yeah.
So it did a bit over a what? Like what's going on?
He said that he conceded to Apollo's argumentation. He don't think he himself is that good enough to stand against the guy in a debate.
Yeah, what's up? I'm gonna be back.
Yeah, you see, Apollo doesn't have time for his lazy ass, shitty debater.
Bro, you're glazing, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
What the fuck is glazing about it? He's unfucking rivaled in this world.
Bro's gobbling it, bro. Like, what's going on, bro? Like,
But you don't understand because you can't even perceive his capabilities.
Okay, bro, you got it.
If you could perceive even a percentage of his capability, get a mirror, look at him indirectly, and then maybe you'll notice something. You'll see God standing before you.
What do you mean, bro?
I'm just saying the direct gaze can be overwhelming for someone as retarded as you.
Yeah, but you didn't have to do that, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, excuse me. I meant challenged. That wasn't the right word.
Yo, challenge is crazy. Yo, you gotta chill, bro. Like, alright, bro, we get it, bro. You
Wait,
getting Apollo, bro.
don't scold me. Don't scold me. I already got beat by my stepfather. I don't want you next.
Damn. Like, how bad is it, bro? Like,
It wasn't as bad as Apollo was whipping on C's fucking raw ass.
damn. That's crazy,
Do you know
bro.
what the modal ambidextrous sophisticate argument is?
I don't know.
Oh, it's one of Apollo's specialties.
Damn. Okay.
It even overcame Ghetto Jin's ratting.
That's a feat, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Overcoming girl just ratting, bro. Crazy.
Ghetto Jin lies to the people so he can accumulate clout for himself.
So you
Apollo
saying
is
there's a crowd
unfazed
issue then?
because do you understand that every human enters and interacts and interfaces, communicates, right, and it receives transpondence from the world through some sort of transpersonal, subjective barrier, right? Direct realism is a false notion, right? But you understand this ideal world in which we could directly connect with reality in such a way. That is the sort of existence that Apollo singularly has access to. That's why he cannot be confused or tricked or is prone to the sophistry that you would fall for.
So you think Apollo is above humanity then, bro? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh my god. What like
It's
what is
like
this
you've
base,
ever
bro?
heard of the term a God's eye view?
Yo, nah, bro. Yeah, yo.
A God's eye view?
I've heard of it. But like,
Who do you think is more holy, Apollo or Kanye West?
I don't know.
Okay. But if you were Apollo, you would know. How old are you, my friend?
78, why?
78?
Yeah.
70 fucking 8.
Yeah, of course, bro. Nah, wait, 94. Yeah, that's right.
94. Are you on disability?
Nah, bro.
Can you walk upstairs without someone carries you?
Nah, I flow upstairs, bro. Nah, I don't actually have to walk anywhere.
You float. Do you have teeth?
Yeah. Me? Yeah. I have double the normal amount of human beings, so but it's fine.
You have double the amount of human being. What does that mean?
Like,
Are you a conjoined twin?
nah, bro. I got double the amount of teeth, bro.
Double. Does it come in rows or do you have teeth like coming out of your arms?
Nah, bro. Like, it comes in rows. I have two sets. Like, do you know how a shark have like two sets of teeth?
Oh, that's really good. I'm recruiting for a team of sophisticated people who can get any sort of job done, and I need someone who can bite this Indian retard that I know. Can you bite him?
He, bro. Bite he, bro.
His name is Kikashibi.
Oh my god.
What is your what is your jaw? What is your bite force? If I do ask.
I mean, I don't know specifics, but I can crush iron. Pretty good. I've been told I can crush diamonds, but.
Okay. Did you give your official verdict on the debate?
Me? Why would I give a verdict? I didn't.
Oh, I thought you were. Wait, don't you have a role that says you are one of the most competent?
Me? Where?
Right there.
What role?
This one over here. Look, see. Excuse me. Are you pulling my fucking leg?
What am I looking at, bro? Like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
It says right here, Sky P champion.
Yeah, I don't see that nowhere.
Oh, you tricked me, motherfucker.
Oh, what did I do?
You see, I have gotten a little piece of Apollo's blood in my system.
That's not
So
very
I saw.
That's not very godly.
I saw when I got that blood. I saw. That's why I saw your little bullshit.
Really?
Yes.
So what did you see, bro? What did you see, bro?
I saw a blurry image, and then suddenly what was there was gone. And then you had asserted your superiority over me.
Yeah, bro. I really did that.
Good. Thank you, nigga.
Yeah.
Villain.
Yo.
Villain.
What the?
Excuse me. Thank you, my nigga.
Yo, what's wrong with you?
Yo, real talk. Hear me out. Mr. Alt.
Wait, what?
Do you know Mr. Drizzy?
Mista from where?
I don't know, everywhere. Emo Mista.
Nah,
Sakazuki would know, but Sakazuki is fucking different.
Wait, Mista from like